Hey everyone, in today's video, I want to give a quick update on a report I came across about tourism in Florida. Yes, the Oilers are down there for the Stanley Cup Finals, and that's bringing in some Canadian fans. But this interview with a Fort Lauderdale tourism official, it reeks of desperation. And it really stands in contrast to the Trump supporters in my comments claiming Florida tourism is booming and saying we don't need Canada. Before we dive in, the backgrounds you'll see in this video are all from Southeast Asia. I'll explain why I picked those spots at the end, so stick around. And if you find value in this video, a quick like and subscribe helps the channel reach more viewers. Let's get into it.
Fort Lauderdale tourism officials say they've seen a marked decline in the number of Canadians visiting the state since U.S. President Donald Trump began making 51st state comments. And some Canadians I spoke to here in Fort Lauderdale say they wouldn't have made the trip if it wasn't for the Stanley Cup final.
This is the first time I've been here in the last 8 months.
Kind of the joke was we're coming down to enemy territory, and that's how it felt.
With beautiful beaches, hot weather, and no shortage of things to do, Florida was a popular location for Canadians to escape the winter. But with a growing number of Canadians boycotting U.S. travel plans as tensions between Canada and the U.S. are at an all-time high due to tariffs and Canadian sovereignty,
it's pretty natural to feel a little apprehension.
That's something noticed by Fort Lauderdale tourism officials.
It's been concerning. Canadian tourism is down about 20%. Canada's our number one visitor market, so it's disturbing.
Stacy Ritter with the Fort Lauderdale Tourism Board tells me the downward trend of Canadians making trips to the Sunshine State is concerning, but Ritter adding she understands why Canadians feel that way.
We recognize why those sentiments are where they are, and as I said, we respect them. But when you are ready to come back, and we hope that you will be ready to come back, we will be here with open arms and open hearts, and ready to embrace you, because you're going to find us the same people that were here before you decided not to travel.
You know what would have made her speech actually believable? She said she understands and respects why Canadians aren't coming back, but then immediately turned it around, like, if you Canadians stop being dramatic, and when you're ready, we'll be happy to take your money again. That's not understanding, that's deflection. The approach she and every U.S. tourism official should be taking is this: stop begging us to return, and start pressuring your own government to change. Speak up against the rhetoric. Call out the policies that are driving us away. But that's not happening. No U.S. business, no tourism board, no one has taken that stand. Instead, we've been insulted, our sovereignty threatened, and we've had Trump supporters telling us to go home. So really, why would we ever want to come back? And yes, she made a point to say they're still the same Floridians we used to visit before we stopped coming. But maybe, just maybe, Canadians are finally starting to see the U.S. for what it really is, and that changes everything.
I've been here since 1990.
It's not just tourism heads worried. Richard Clavette owns this motel complex in Hollywood, Florida. Originally from Quebec, he's been running this motel that caters to Canadian snowbirds for 35 years. But tells me, starting this past winter and spring, his regulars began canceling.
There was like a big drop in cancellation in March, especially after mid-March. It's just like...
Clavette adds some of his canceling customers have told him explicitly they are canceling because of the U.S. president, leaving deposits on rooms and choosing to vacation in nearby Cuba, something Clavette says he doesn't agree with.
We would like to see you here using the deposit. I think it was like about $1,000 deposit. Nope, I'm not going to support that dictator.
Whoever that Canadian was who canceled their trip and gave up $1,000 deposit, I respect the hell out of that. $1,000 isn't small change, and to me that says this person's had enough. Now let's talk about this motel owner, a Canadian from Quebec who moved to Florida and started a business, and now says he doesn't agree with the boycott. Of course he doesn't. He's losing money. Our money. Not because he supports Canada, but because his rooms are sitting empty. That's what this is really about. Let me know in the comments. Am I off base, or are you seeing it the same way?
But for other Oilers fans in Florida, they're putting politics aside to support the team.
Get a vacation, doesn't matter what's going on, I'm here to have fun.
To each their own. If this kid wants to fly down to Florida to cheer on the Oilers, that's his choice. But let's not ignore what's really happening here. Florida is clearly feeling the impact of Canadians staying away. The tourism board is openly begging us to come back, and this motel owner, he's staring at empty rooms. And that's just two examples. You can bet there are plenty more stories like these across Florida's tourism industry. This isn't a one-off, it's a trend. Now, you might be wondering why today's background isn't showcasing our incredible country of Canada, but instead, it's beaches from around the world. Well, I've seen a few comments from Canadians saying they've let their passports expire because they have no interest in going to the US anymore. And I get that. But here's the thing. Just because we're done with the US doesn't mean we have to give up on travel altogether. That's what these backgrounds are about. There are so many other places to explore. Beaches, cities, countries that actually welcome Canadians. These are just a few I've visited over the years, and I'd take them over California or Florida any day. Sure, the flight was longer, but I was sipping a $2 beer on the beach, and not once did I feel like I didn't belong. So don't let those Canadian passports go to waste. If you miss the beach, there are better places to go. And it's time more of us started exploring beyond the US. If you enjoyed this video or have been to any of these spots, drop a comment below. And if you want to help this message reach more Canadians and allies, hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.